How did Ghana, an economy that was thriving and felt to be a model for how a modern economy should work in the West African sub-region, become a basket case almost overnight? I traveled to Ghana to investigate, and what I found was shocking. A company, MTN, had turned itself into a behemoth and was politically dominating and economically exploiting Ghana through a series of monopolistic policies, to the extent that even Ghana's government almost buckled under. MTN took them to court, tried to force policies on them detrimental to their economy. It was a terrible situation, and if it happens in Ghana, it might spread to other West African countries and other sub-Saharan countries. Watch this expose.
MTN Enya free Ghana for it is crazy. And sometimes na any person become once we will be a time MTN a time brand, you know. MTN is basically monopolizing the system. Now they have taken advantage of the market too much. It's all because government upon government ama MTN too much room to cheat the Ghanaian. So and then MTN anytime we are almost feel say they can increase price.
As it is now, all of us in this country are working for MTN. This is my market now. The small money I make to even make a phone is a problem.
Being a dominant player in the telco sector in Ghana, MTN has used monopolistic policies like the interconnectivity rates, which they arbitrarily set to squeeze out their rivals in the telco sector in Ghana. And not just that, because of MTN's activities, $2 million are leaving the Ghanaian economy for South Africa every day. Just think about that. Every day, $2 million leaving Ghana, which is almost distressed economically for South Africa. How long can their economy survive this before it collapses?
It is not enough for the government of Ghana complaining publicly about MTN's monopoly in our country. All talks and no action makes MTN monopolize more. They have squeezed out other telcos, including the state's own GSM network. In 2022, they made almost $1 billion from Ghana, monies that flew to South Africa. Enough is enough. Something must be done.
Like I call right now, they say cannot reach or switch off.
Okay.
Maybe that the person dealing off his phone. That's the tariffs we are facing. If you go for South, it's like you are going to spend money. I say the network is not good. When I went to market, when I shot, I send my phone to mobile money for that I want to draw. They say there's no money. Last week I went to Agomenya. My money has finished. I will finish that. When I go here, they say there's no money. When I want to, everybody says they have money in their phone. That's the challenge we are want to be able to marketing window. Because always we are money is in our phone. If I want market and it's short, I have to go. That's the challenge we are facing now. It's very, very important for us.
In January of 2023, the Ghanaian government hit back, branding MTN a monopoly. And not just that, they slammed a fine of $773 million on them. But guess what? MTN fought them in the Ghanaian courts. Unfortunately for MTN, the Ghanaian courts in November of 2023 dismissed their action challenging the Ghanaian government's authority to label them a monopoly and to also slam fines on them. According to the African Development Bank, the fastest growing large economies in sub-Saharan Africa are in East Africa, specifically Tanzania and Ethiopia. Ethiopia is growing at a rate of over 6% per annum. Tanzania is not far behind at slightly under 6%. And I traveled to these countries to find out why they were doing so well. And one thing I found out, MTN doesn't operate there. In those countries, their telco sectors are controlled by indigenous companies. Is that a coincidence? I think not. In Kenya, I spoke with a local activist, Bishop Haimba, and he had this to say.
Okay, the type of things that are happening in Nigeria and Ghana in the telecom sector can't happen in Kenya because our government is alive to its responsibility.
Back in Ghana, I spoke with activists, chambers of commerce of industries, government officials, and unanimously they all told me, you know what, our economy is facing challenges, and one of these challenges is what you've been talking about, Reno. How can we address this issue? How do you call money in Ghana? Aha! So if you had a situation whereby there is truly a Commonwealth advantage, we would do business within the Commonwealth and we